and they go green. And right off the line, Guarini gets away well, as does Brido, as does Colombo on the left-hand side. Matis Cesaro working his way up on the right-hand side opposite. It's going to be tense this start loop. We've got start loop and then 7 laps. And I think it's going to be a big fight into this first technical section. Trying to find Pidcock. There he is. Pidcock has been shuffled back at the start. 162 beats per minute for Charlie Aldridge. As he just gets knocked into that course marking tape slightly. The search for grip up this section, so tough.
Yeah, it might be because it's trying a little bit, but still this climb here, it's so slippery, so difficult to make it on your bike.
Oh, Pidcock stumbles, knocks into Cesaro. The amazing thing is, we didn't think on lap 1 on the climb, we'd be saying that Aldridge would be leading Schleb. And Schleb takes the lead from Aldridge now. And,
we have never seen that before.
What a story.
Julian Shelb leading in the World Cup.
Julian Shelb. Out front of this one, it is Shelb and Tom Pidcock though.
Julian Shelb and Tom Pidcock leading this race.
A couple of seconds behind them, Lino Schurter. Shelb reels round the corner.
Yeah, on high speed, these riders.
But Pidcock is in front now.
Yep.
Cool thing about these guys riding the A-line is it pushes them higher up on the rocks and they miss all that ruck to the bottom.
Here we go, here's the overtake then. Pidcock
taking a more difficult inside line.
Just gets his bike straight across the front of Shelb. Shelb shakes the head, but
not happy with that move.
On A-line. Going AA.
The waterfall.
Into the waterfall section, Tom Pidcock now. Whoa! First time he said he hasn't ridden the track today, so that's his first time down it on the first lap of the race.
The G-line is faster.
Shelb, what we were calling the A- line,
it's faster.
A lot faster out of that one, so that'll be a learning exercise for Tom Pidcock.
So next time also Tom Pidcock will take that the A- line.
Whoa! Pidcock goes down in the tack zone where we saw.
Yeah, mud on the tires and entering the asphalt, it's always dangerous. We have seen that before. He went down over there.
We saw Valentina Corvi go down there in the under-23 women's race earlier today.
Shaking his hand from what did I do?
Meanwhile, out front, Shelb is by himself. A bit of clear air to work in.
Yeah, 2 German in the lead here. Maximilian Bramel, second place. Pidcock and Elliot Nino. There's Flukiger, here we go. Finally, we see him in front of the race this year.
All the riders just going on this left-hand line.
Now Pidcock and also Nino maybe on the bike.
Schleb just had to dismount and jump back on it, and able Pidcock just to close the gap. And his front group of 5 now all just coming back together.
Lucas Schwarzbauer pushing hard to come back to the leading group. He's on 6th place. So 3 German riders in the top 6. Pidcock and Nino Schurter now leading the race.
For Julian Shelb just to hang on there.
Flukiger just happened to have a dab there and unclip his right foot.
Yep, also the second. Off the bike, these riders. Nino not, still on his bike.
And Nino, the first person they'll receive that's ridden that section all day.
Yeah, he made it.
Yeah.
Lino Schurter collected his 36th win in Val di Sole Trentino at the last round.
We'll see if on this course you can gain, you live 2 seconds here all day, you can ride a section, you can dismount.
Just back wheel spins out from underneath, and we saw that happen to Alessandra Keller in the elite women's race as well.
Here's Flukiger makes it over that wood over there.
Schleb doing well as well, getting onto that right side, finding a bit of green grass.
And that's the same. And that's the same to Tom Pidcock, what Pidcock did to him.
Yeah, chops that front wheel. Pidcock round the outside of Nino Schurter, you don't get to say that every day. But out the front, Tom Pidcock.
Yeah, he's pushing hard now, it's kind of an attack.
Senses.
6 seconds.
Senses that maybe now is the time. Down through the Timber Garden.
That's still very slippery, that Timber Garden.
See the whole bike just moving around.
Yeah. Oh, that is the
goes Flukiger past Schurter. No love lost between those two. And Mateusz Flukiger is answering his online critics here today.
Yeah, he did do the short track yesterday to save some energy. Looks like it works for him today. He's so far.
Tom Pidcock just took a look over his shoulder and saw Mateusz Flukiger enjoying a drink from his bottle. I wonder if that will be the green light. Here comes Nino Schurter in the shop now. All these few riders now have to go into time trial mode.
Yeah, Pidcock put the hammer down. Not waiting at all here. The asphalt.
This first climb super tough. On the short track it was taking the riders about a minute and a half to climb up this asphalt climb. Then we have a small recovery before we go into the woods, but it just keeps going and going. It's about 4 minutes all in all where you're actually putting big power through the pedals. It's a really tough climb. There's Schwarzbach and Brandl. The battle for the last spot on the podium is raging between Lukas Schwarzbach and his compatriot Max Brandl. Lars Forster wants to get across to them. Not doing well to ride that technical section.
Yeah, wondering what Matthias can do.
He's off the bike already.
Able to come back to Thomas Pidcock. Pidcock was pushing hard on the asphalt.
Yeah, it's gone from 5 seconds to 13 seconds now.
Nino struggling over there as well to stay on his bike. This costing a lot of seconds. He's doing now.
Pidcock did really well to power his way through that section. Whoa. That's not something you see on every day.
No, especially not from Nino.
Massive
Julian
mistake.
Schaub now on third, but we don't see that many questions of Nino.
Massive
normally.
mistake from Schurter over the barriers. Is bobbling up nicely. Tom Pidcock leads the way by 40 seconds ahead of Mateusz Flukiger. Julian Schaub's in third. Nino Schurter's in fourth. It's the head of Lukas Schwarzbach. Schurter in the last lap in the wars, off the bike a couple of times.
Not having his best lap, the previous lap, but he has to find his rhythm back. That's what he's doing now. Third place.
And the sun's just coming out and you can just sit on course, but Nino's having lots of problems with his pedals. You see them just banging his foot, trying to clear the mud. Getting the legs turned on, he's one of the cleverest. As Tom Pidcock goes down, seemingly out of nowhere, loses the front end, puffs the cheeks.
How quickly it happened, riders have to be concentrated everywhere.
Strange
Very
crash.
Yes, but it's a very off-camera section over here. Just a little bit too fast.
So often you see riders crashing. It's on that easy bit of forest track, a bit of gravel. Sure. Oh! And Lars Forster down heavily in the timber garden. Schurter
Nino
arrives on the scene, manages to get the bike slowed down, get past him. Great bike riding that from Nino Schurter.
Yeah, that timberwood garden. If you touch your brakes a little bit too much, you slide and you crash immediately.
Meanwhile, Mateusz Flukiger's got the tongue out. He's trying hard, digging deep.
Second place.
43 seconds now after that crash from Pidcock, so... And that's just the kind of day it is. There's mistakes in this for everyone. You've got to keep believing.
That's true.
On a course like this, in these conditions, everyone's going to have a crash at some point today, and it's making sure it's not a one on a rock section, it's on a soft section, and it's just making sure you can get up, preserve your bike. Schaub, third place for Julian Schaub currently.
Schwarzbach on fourth.
Good rider as well, Gavin Ewer in form. He's coming through strong. What a shake-up in the overall points this one's going to be.
That's the third place in the race. Numbers 3 and 4.
See that gap to looking as well, going 40 seconds, now back to 50 again on that first big climb. The speed that Pidcock's climbing today. Tom Pidcock merciless at the front of this one, 50 seconds ahead of Mateusz Flukiger. Then there's a chunky gap back, nearly a minute.
Yeah, but it looks like you also look at Ryder. He's coming back to Julian Schaub and Nino.
The battle for third place is raging out there as the sun starts to shine for what feels like the first time this week in Crom, Montana. But Schaub and Schurter still doing battle now. Schurter in the black and white jersey of Scott Schramm, MTB Racing.
Schaub, different line, running, equal in time.
And there's Luca Braido with them in the Italian national champions colours.
Very difficult section over there. But also here Tom Pidcock is
so strong on this climb, and he's gained. Put that gap out to Mateusz Flukiger back to 58 seconds again.
going into the Timberwood section.
Approaching a minute to the good for Tom Pidcock as he heads into the Timberwoods.
The A-line, precisely timed. Last lap, final lap.
Still looking like he's barely ticking over the Englishman. Look at this man though, Mateusz Flukiger, what a ride today. Classy, gutsy ride from Mateusz Flukiger, heads onto his final lap. Well, Schurter takes the bell at the front of what will be the battle for third place. Schell, Braido, and are they going to be joined? And these two, Nino and Braido now just piling on the pressure. Schell just starting to get distanced a little bit. Yeah, breathing heavily now.
Nino is pushing now, attacking.
Nino Schurter attacking, but Braido staying with him. Schell looking like he's on the ropes a bit now. Fifth place. Well, I think Shelby's job is just to hang on to that too. Stay in fifth. Meanwhile, Tom Pidcock get the yellow flag just at the top of the rock garden. Medics look like they're with a rider in the middle of that one.
Yep.
Never easy. Look at him.
His typical style for Mateusz Flukiger.
Mateusz Flukiger still battling.
Yeah, also for him. Oh, he's taking even the C line. He doesn't know about that B line.
Yeah,
if it's open or not.
I think maybe the flag wasn't far enough across for Pidcock.
Minute 7 back for Mateusz Flukiger.
It's when you get these fights for position like this third on the last lap, I get almost like lactate in my own legs. I can feel it. You know, I get into the fight of it. These two in the booth, so hard. These two in the booth beside me, pedaling along with this battle for third place.
A little bit of a gap for Julian Schell now, fifth place.
I wonder if it might be lights out for Julian Schell, if he might be settling for fifth place here on a spot on the podium. Tom Pidcock has been absolutely unstoppable today. It was Judgment Day in Crom, Montana, and the Tominator got the job done. Tom Pidcock takes his 7th UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup win. Tom Pidcock, absolutely spellbinded. Meanwhile, behind him,
the battle for third place. Nino Schurter, Luca Braido, and Julian Schell.
Two classy performances behind him. Mateusz Flukiger is going to get second, but Schurter has scampered off up the road for third place.
Waiting for Mateusz Flukiger. He must be second somewhere in front of these riders.
Schurter looks over his shoulder, sees Braido, knows that he needs to get a move on. Can Nino Schurter hold off the big Italian to get third place at his home
second place?
What a class act Mateusz Flukiger is. What a way to answer your critics. Flukiger heads towards the finish line then. Second place for Mateusz Flukiger.
He's happy with that.
Absolutely superb result for Mateusz Flukiger. That's how you answer your critics, in some style. Meanwhile, here we go, the battle for third place, warming up now. Schurter versus Braido down the Red Bull Roots and Roll section for the last time. And they arrive on the asphalt, and it is going to be a sprint finish. Braido tucks in behind Schurter, he won't be able to see him. Braido stands on the pedals, Schurter has to dig deep. He's led this pair the whole way round. Has he got enough in the tank to get the job done? Luca Braido